Welcome back to Garage. Now we're here today with the 89 Dodge Dakota that got a hole in the radiator. So currently I've just turned that petcock down there and I'm draining out the coolant, which does not look too hot, honestly. I don't know if I'm going to reuse any of that. We'll say too, if anybody does use a lot of buckets, Lucky Buck buckets, highly recommend. Definitely have the work boots on today, Crocs and socks. Back to this radiator situation. Now my truck's a manual. Every single radiator I could find that was brand new has these. I'm assuming those are for transmission coolers lines. So I think tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get some caps for those. Tonight I'm probably just going to pull the radiator out, drain it. I do have a new... Sorry, my bed is an absolute mess right now. People just keep throwing junk in here, and picked up some stuff for the truck, and I had to move all my junk in here, and it's been a disaster. I do have the new thermostat and gasket, because also this thing always says the engine is cool. Never really gets up to what I would consider normal temperature. So I'm assuming either it doesn't have a thermostat or that one is stuck. Really don't know which, so I'm going to try to change that as well. That'll be simple, take off this hose. 2 bolts were there basically. Probably remove that little guy, but that's no big deal there either. But yeah, I'm going to wait for this thing to drain. In the meantime, I'll probably start taking off the clips to remove the fan shroud. Someone's actually cut out the bottom of this one before, so I don't have to take the fan off. Under normal circumstances, you probably should, but definitely have to take off top hose, which is this hole in the radiator is towards the middle lower. So I should fine actually take this off now, I'd imagine. But yeah, she feels pretty empty. So yeah, I'll probably get that taken off, rip this guy off, see what happens. This also is gonna be a good time for me to also change my radiator cap, because as you can tell, this one has, it needs replaced. That was barely attached, so that guy needs replaced too. But yeah, guess I would go ahead and get at it while the thing's draining. I can do other stuff. I also want to come back and clarify now. I'm not saying you have to take the fan shroud out to do this, but I'm saying it's easier. I don't want someone to be all angry in the comments saying, oh, you don't have to do that. I know what this stuff is better than you. I don't care. But basically what I did is I took mine out. I had 2 clips here. Looks like there should be bolts there, but there wasn't, just clips. And then 2 bolts down here. Mine were 10 millimeter, I believe. That's what I used. It could be standard. I don't know. I'll be the first one to say this truck went through a tornado. Not everything is perfectly on it like it should be from the factory. But yeah, now my coolant's quit draining. Undo that bottom hose. Probably get covered in more coolant because there's a high point right there, which is weird in my opinion. So move the bucket over, get that, pull this guy out. I think I've only got like 2, just these top 2 bolts are all to hold mine in. Let's look at the new one. It looks like maybe the shroud should have 2 more points down there of connection, but this one might be slightly different than mine even. But yeah, from what I can see, just same 2 bolts. So nothing crazy. Make sure your petcock's closed before you put them in, that's for sure. Or you'll be just dumping it right on the ground. But yeah, get myself a new radiator cap and get that guy pulled out, and we'll get back with you. So sorry about the geese. The neighbors chopped corn yesterday. They're actually just into my driveway. But one thing I like to do is I always like to make sure everything looks the same. There's a few minor differences, such as yeah, the holes where the shroud goes on aren't in this. Thickness is the same. Seems like the rest of the connectors here are the same. Like I said, the main difference is this is for an automatic. That's what those 2 holes are for. I'm assuming those are for the transmission cooler or transmission cooling lines, which I could not find one for manual. Could not find one. I could find everything had these 2 bungs and not at all what I wanted, but work with what I got. So just get some caps, plug those off, Teflon tape them in. It should be good to go. But yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, all the support points seem the same. All these clips seem the same. So in all reality, we should be good to go. And also, I was wondering, like I said, I am not the one that cut this. Somebody else did. But yeah, where those center supports should be to hold that on, someone has deleted those. So that could be part of the reason like that's like that. Now what actually happened to my radiator is there originally were two of these supports here. Bottom one was here, obviously, and it got ripped off, and I think it put a hole either here or here. I can't remember where exactly. One of those two spots, and got in the fan, ripped up a little. That's what happened. So now we're gonna go to this aluminum guy and see what we can do. All right, even though it doesn't look like it, it's a new day. I got some parts. Just did my thermostat. It's as simple as 2 bolts, pop that off, pop the thermostat out, new one in, new gasket, everything else. One thing I do want to show that I did on the radiator is this is for a transmission cooler for an automatic. I don't have that. Theoretically, this should be a dry cavity where these two are connected. However, I still put a hose on it because I want to ensure that no debris or anything gets in there and potentially rusts out or corrodes the aluminum radiator. I know rusting is not a thing, but corrosion technically is. So I did that just more of a keepsake because I could not find any caps to put on these ends. So I just ran loop to hose, keep everything clean. So I believe now I should be ready to get this guy in. Looks like these, you can't see that one, but there's these little pegs here that should go into those holes. As you can tell, that one from the last radiator is still in there. And it has a much larger peg. Maybe the old one, yeah, okay, they're supposed to be pushed in these rubber grommets. So I need to get that old peg out. And for some reason, both of them were over there. But I know it had things on the bottom pieces, so I should probably be in those two outside ones, I'd imagine. So I'm gonna go ahead and figure this guy out, get those old pegs out of there, then get them in, set the radiator in, and hook up hoses, and I'll be on the main stretch then. Well, got the radiator in, got the shroud on, radiator's filled up. I'm just gonna start the vehicle, let it get up to temp. After the thermostat opens, then I'm going to refill it basically. And new cap, like I said, need that for that guy on. And then after I drive it for a little bit, I'll probably put a little bit extra in the reservoir. And once I drive it, obviously, check it again and possibly top it off if it needs it. So time to start. So obviously once it's running, it should eventually start sucking it down, which it slowly seems to be doing now. And just keep adding it till it's full, and eventually you'll see it start circulating. And that's pretty much when you know that you're good. So I'm going to keep adding to it every time it gets a little bit low, and I think we're just starting to circulate. I've been at this for a few minutes now, just topping it off as it goes. Yeah, see how that water's moving a little? That means that it's probably can't really. But that means that the thermostat is open, so now it's starting to pump water through everything. So, I should have recommended don't keep it full all the way to the top because it's going to burp and then you'll get coolant all over. Ask me how I know. It's actually been a while since I did a radiator. This thing's already had its main burp and now it's just getting a little bit more of the air out. This is why I recommend putting a little bit extra, not a lot, but a little bit extra in the reservoir when you're done. That's why I'm just you can see it moving in there when I'm not blocking the light. You can see the coolant in there is moving, and I just keep adding little by little, trying to not get too much in it until, well, I'm probably good now, really, but I'm gonna sit here for a little bit longer just to be safe. I've already checked the temp gauge. It's running normal, so it's good there. But yeah, everything seems to be working like it should. So Get back in a minute once I can focus more on the video recording. So some last minute recommendations while I can think is wherever you take the hose off of, put it back on. Sorry, I just rinsed everything off. It's probably another recommendation. Obviously, don't directly spray your engine if it's hot. That's why I got a little bit of steam because stuff's kind of dripping. Because I just kind of sprayed down some areas where the fan had blown stuff onto. No big deal really there. But obviously, rinse everything off, or else next time you come under here, everything will be sticky. I'm also doing it so next time I get under here, I can see if there's any leaks or anything. Obviously, if it was during the day, I would be able to do that a lot easier. However, it's not. And, well, this thing's got a, that actually held air. This tire was flat. So, had a flat tire, need new ones. I got my, actually it looks like I have more tread there than I really do, because there's nothing on there. But they look about like drag slicks. Somebody ordering tires tomorrow. But little things like that, you know, just to, obviously, like I said, don't spray this. And also, I think earlier I mentioned something, taking the fan off. You don't have to pry it all. You can normally just undo the shroud, put it back, probably just hang out there. If you do go ahead and do the thing like I did with the hose at the bottom, I recommend to zip tie those things out of the way of everything. Probably put it on after if you're able. I probably should have, but I didn't. I had to fight the fan going down with that hose on there. And then I zip tied them over just so I don't care about getting into the crank pulley or anything like that. And I should never be able to get into the fan this way as well. Some might claim someday that zip tie might vibrate through. It might. You're right. I might just be making the lifespan of this a little bit longer. What is that? Huh. Weird looking bee looking thing. But yeah, those are just kind of my final thoughts on this. There could be some parts I missed. There's a vacuum leak right there I just found. If there's anything that I missed, just let me know. Maybe it'll help somebody else out. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thanks for watching. Next thing on the Dakota might be some brake work. So it's going to be it. Thanks.